ESXi host. On ESXi host, we should have at least 2 VMs. Not necessarily they have any operating system. There is no operating system on them. So today what we are doing, we are first of all reviewing networking. Now in networks, understanding virtualization network is very, very important. So before starting, so guys, there are 2 tracks sitting here, track 5 and track 6. So track 6, welcome track 5. Welcome track 5 and track 5. Assalamu alaikum track 6. Assalamu alaikum track 6. So this is what I'm planning to do, guys. This is a revision for track 5. Track 6 will be going on. So track 5, you'll be helping out track 6 wherever they are stuck. At the end, I'm planning to have a complete competition between the 2 tracks. And out of all my previous tracks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I think your both tracks worked really hard within these training. Just like, so guys, give yourself a hand. Now, what I mean by really hard, because I know that track 5 people, they were sitting extra days. In the evening, they were doing all of the lab. And same thing goes for track 6 as well. So you are both very, very technical at this point. So here we'll work together. We'll all work together. Our goal is to land an IT job, guys. Our goal is to land an IT job. This course is finished or not finished. I would highly suggest that do not leave, miss any lectures. So keep on coming in the classes. We'll work on resumes. We'll work on interviews until each and everyone gets a job. Okay. So inshallah, we'll work on that, and we can all do it. We can all do it. Now, this requires very, very serious efforts, and we'll all work together. Are we ready for this, guys? Yes or no? Yes, we're ready, inshallah. So, so I'm going to review networking. So from now on, vSphere, everything is advanced. We already finished the basics. What is ESXi host? What are 2 types of clients? So this is networking. But guys, again, the most confidence we get is from practical. So the more we do practical, the better it is. I asked you to create 1 class lab and 1 home lab, but you can make another lab for your own practice if you're done with all 1 to 6 videos, 1 to 7. So today we'll be moving on this. At the end, I think this class, so there are 9 people from track 5. There are 10 people, almost 10 people from track 6. This class is excellent for the Mega Lab. Let's hope that we reach to the Mega Lab. Now, in order to reach to the Mega Lab is, I discussed that with you, all of you, that it will be a combination, 1 network under this roof, having all the technologies. So Citrix, VMware, Exchange, SCCM, and everything. And I'm going to give you a complete project, and we'll do it, inshallah. But before that, before reaching Mega Lab, guys, we must 100% complete all custom labs. So again, one more time, if you have time, if you can spare time, sit on extra days as well. Sit on extra days as well. You can come here and do the labs in other 2 days. So or you can work in different groups and work together. I know few people have been sitting together from the start of the year, and now is the time that we all work together. Okay. Market is not very difficult, guys. Market is technically, as long as you are sound, and then we'll prepare question answers. But the most difficult part is to get that first call. And when you get that first call, you need to know how to respond to that call. And for that, guys, you need to connect to me or here to this place, because you need a continuous guidance. Do not take it for granted that now you have finished all the trainings and you can take the calls, guys. It will be very, very confusing when you take the first call. So until we get a job, we'll stay connected, we'll keep on going, and inshallah will be successful. Okay. So guys, here we have 3 servers. So in 3 servers. So in the last lecture, so this is our base network. We all know, everybody sitting here, this is 100% clear for everyone, Mushtaq, that it is a 2008 server. You have VS, you have VC, and then you have ESXi1, ESXi2. They're all connected together. I'm going to quickly review the networking part of this. Now, networking part of this is as follows. So here we do have a ESXi host. Each ESXi host has a network of its own. Now, understanding the basic networking, as long as, guys, we have that visual image of basic networking, what is basic networking? You have two computers. What is the smallest network? Connect two computers with a wire. Okay, when you connect two or three computers together, then you need what? We do need a switch. So if you need to connect all three of them, we need a switch. So switch is that device that connects different computers together. And switch is which layer device? Layer 2 device. It is set to be layer 2 device. Now switch, always remember that it's a layer 2 device. Because sometimes they do check you in interviews. Have you ever worked on layer 2 devices? Layer 2 device is just a switch. And main function of a switch is to connect all computers together. What is layer 3 device? A router is a layer 3 device. Router. So router, what is the main function of a router? To connect two networks together. So here, if you have a second switch, and this second switch is connecting all these other computers, and in order to connect these two switches, we use a router. So router is used to connect network, and this is a layer 3 device. It's a layer 3. And layer 1 is that physical layer. Layer 1 is that network card. So network card works on layer 1. So basically, this is layer 1, L1, and the switch here is L2, and the router that connects to this switch is L3. So this is how it is. So physical layer, there is a physical layer, there is a networking layer, there is a networking layer, then there is this switch is in between this layer. Okay. Now let's go back to our networking here. So we started with networking, and in networking, we know this much. In networking, we have a server. We have a server, ESXi host. It has its own network card, and it's a ESXi host. It is connected to a physical switch out there. This is a physical switch. So this is a physical switch. Now, this is a physical switch. Now, network card connect to a physical. In ESXi host, what do we call this card? PNIC. It is called a PNIC or a VMNIC. It is called a PNIC or a VMNIC as well. This is a VMNIC, and this is just a physical switch. So we need to know these terminologies. So we know PNIC and VMNIC. Now, how many maximum cards you can connect to a host? 10. 10 maximum cards you can connect to one host. So I can connect card number 1, card number 2, card number 3, card number 4, and you connect all these cards to the switch. Now, what does multiple cards give you on a host? Guys, they give you double speed, and they also give you failover and redundancy. Now, if you connect multiple PNICs or VMNICs, so here I'm going to say multiple PNICs connected, a physical card connected, gives us 3 benefits. 3 benefits. It gives us how many benefits? 3 benefits. So benefit number 1, double bandwidth, double or triple or depending on how many cards are there. So I'm going to say double bandwidth. It is double bandwidth, so you will get double bandwidth. And secondly, it also gives a failover. It also gives a failover. And the third one, it gives you redundancy. It gives you redundancy. So it gives you 3 benefits if you have multiple physical cards on one host. Now, what are the 3 benefits? Number 1 is double bandwidth. So before with one card, so here I'm going to say 1 NIC, 1 PNIC. 1 PNIC was equal to 1 GB of bandwidth. And then 2 PNICs are equal to 2 GB of bandwidth. And 3 are equal to 3 GB of bandwidth. So as you can see, the bandwidth is increasing as soon as you increase cards. So 1 card gives you 1 GB only, and then 2 cards gives you 2 GB, and 3 cards give you 3 GB. So the more cards you have, and then you have better bandwidth. Failover is we can set these NICs to be failover for this network, for these cards. In failover, all we need to understand, if one card fails, your ESXi is still connected to physical network. So here, if PNIC1 fails, your ESXi can still be managed from outside. So this is failover. ESXi is managed through PNIC2. So it can be failover is simply a function of, if one fails, you can still connect to the second card. You can still connect to. And third is redundancy. Meaning now you have multiple ways out of your ESXi host. You don't have only one way, you have multiple ways out of yours. So here I'm going to say multiple ways out of ESXi host. So having multiple cards gives you three benefits, guys. We must understand a multiple card gives you three benefits. Benefit number one is double bandwidth or triple bandwidth or quad bandwidth, quadruple bandwidth. So more cards you have, the better the bandwidth. Secondly, failover. So now you have no worry about, if one card fails, you can still connect to the other cards. And the third one is redundancy. Now it has multiple ways out. You can connect through ESXi host in many different ways. So starting with PNIC here. PNIC is a first connection to your ESXi host. Now within the ESXi host, what do you have? We have vSwitch 0. So that is known as vSwitch 0. What kind of switch is it? It's a standard switch. It is a standard virtual switch. It's a standard virtual switch. Secondly, and then this switch has port groups inside. So remember port groups. So we have port groups here. So port group number 1 and port group number 2. What is the first port group? It is VM network port group. So this one is VM network port group. This port group is for what? It is just for VMs. So this port group is just for VM, meaning it has ports inside that is dedicated to VM. So whenever VMs are created, they will get ports from this port group. And secondly, we have a management port group. Management port group, and this is also known as VM kernel port group. VM kernel. VM kernel. And it has a port that is known as, it has a port inside that is known as management port. Yes. So management port. It has a what is the name of the management port? VMK0. VMK0. So the port name is VMK0. VMK0. So this is a management port group. This is known as VM kernel port group. VM kernel port group is this box, and then this management port is connected to your physical network. Now, to VMK0, your IP address is assigned to VMK0. Do we remember that? Yeah. So your IP address is assigned actually here. So VMK0, our IP address is assigned.
Basically, it's a gateway, right?
It is not a gateway. I mean, if you mean by it's a door outside, yes, it is, because that's the only door outside. But it's not a gateway. Gateway is another technical word. Gateway mostly refers to a router in networks. But yes, you mean that it is a door outside for this ESXi host? Yes, this VMK0 is the door outside. Okay. So now we have a virtual switch. We have a VMK network port group. We have management port group, and management port group has a management port. Management. What are the 4 functions of management ports? Ta-da! One, anyone? Management traffic, and second one, okay, excellent. Fault tolerance, third one, ice traffic, and fourth one, demotion. Okay. So yes, here, this management port, guys, management port can perform 4 functions. And those 4 functions are as follows. Number one, it can manage demotion traffic. Actually, the first one should be management. Management traffic. Second one is demotion traffic. And third one, ice-fuzzy traffic. And last one, FT traffic. So management port is used for 4 different purposes. How can we relate it to a real life? Guys, real life question is, have you ever traveled on 401? No? So how many functions 401 gives us? Guys, 401 is that one big road that can lead you to Etobicoke, that can lead you to Mississauga, that can lead you to all the cities. So basically this one road connect. So if we say that 401 performs these 8 different functions, meaning leading to Etobicoke, Mississauga, Milton and everything, this is exactly the same thing. It's just saying that this management port does how many functions, how many types of cars can travel on this road. So on this management port, VMs cannot travel on this road. So just remember this. VMs are connected to VM ports. And management traffic, if the traffic is for vMotion, so what was vMotion? vMotion was when you move a machine from here to another machine, it must go through 401 management port. It must go through a management. So management port can perform how many functions? 4 functions. One is management traffic. What is included in management traffic? Management traffic, whenever you manage a ESXi host. Management traffic is just simple. Whenever you connect from vCenter to ESXi host, basically you're managing it and management port is used. So here 4 functions. And now, so how many things do we know here now? Actually, let me create last one. And the last one here is VM. VM. So when you create a new VM, first of all, VM, does it have a network card? VM must have a network card. So VM has a network card, and this card is known as VNIC. VNIC. Just like this card was known as PNIC, this card is known as VNIC. So in networking diagram outside, whoever refers to how many VNICs you have. So basically they're asking how many network cards you have on your VMs. So this card is known as V. And where is VNIC connected to? To the VM port group in port. So VM port group. So let's say now the question here is how many maximum VNICs you can have on a VM? Again, 10 VMs, 10 VNICs. So even on this, you can have 10 cards. And whenever you connect multiple cards here, it does these 3 functions. So it does multiple cards gives you double bandwidth. It gives you failover. It gives you redundancy. So multiple cards does give you many benefits. So these are benefits. Now here, this is a VNIC. So VNIC connects to the port group, and this is a VM port. VM port connects here, and this is how it is. Now let me quickly number them. How many things do we need to know in networking? Guys, if you're able to understand this networking, you'll be able to understand any number of ESXi hosts and their networking. So let's look at this now. So here, first of all, we started with a physical switch. You do need a physical switch outside the ESXi host. Secondly, we do know about a PNIC, second. And third, we do know about now switch, which is a vSphere standard switch. And now we do know about a port group, which is VM port group, and then management port group, 5 management port group. And then right here, these are ports. So I'm going to say this is 6, which is management port. And 6.1 here, we need to remember it does 4 functions, 6.2, 6.3, and 6.4. Management port does these 4 functions. Number 7 is the VNIC. Number 7 is VNIC. And yes. Yes, just write your name. So next time, Amin will add your names. So here, And this is number 8 here. Today we talked about multiple PNICs. And in 8.1, multiple PNICs gives us 3 benefits, and it's an interview question, guys. Well, why would you create multiple NICs on ESXi host? Or why would you connect multiple NICs to ESXi host? Yes, because it gives us double bandwidth, and it makes sure that we do have redundancy, 2 ways out of your ESXi host, 2 ways to connect. If one door is closed, you can always use the other door. So this is 8.1, 8.2, and redundancy 8.3. So this is what so far what we have discussed in networking. Yes.
So, adding more Phoenix, like these are the physical cards, right?
Yes.
It's a good practice to add more, or it's a requirement depend on the workload?
No, it is a requirement. So all the guys, the question is very good. The question is that in real environments, so ESXi host will always be physical server. So basically, this server sitting here, we all saw this server. This server is a physical server. And on this physical server, by default, there are 4 network cards. By default, there are 4. Now it's up to you. You use only one or you use multiple cards. So in all environment, we use multiple cards, guys. Now you can think of each ESXi host. We can do what?
Each ESXi host.
We can think of each ESXi host. We can do what one more time. We can think of each ESXi host as a
physical server.
This is the right word. This is the right word. Now, if one ESXi host goes down, your business, it will affect your business. Because this ESXi host not only hosting maybe one, guys, in all of the environment, there are at least 35 to 50 VMs on each host. So meaning this host is very, very sensitive. It has to be taken care of with extra efforts.
So in real environment, do we have a replica?
Yes. So in real environment, we do have DRF, we do have vMotion, we do have HA, we do have FT. So for that reason, we need to go through those advanced stuff. But here, always think of ESXi host as Titanic. Huh? How many we went to Titanic? How many times I watched? Just one time. I know there are people sitting here who watched 10 times. No, one time. I mean, everybody knows Titanic, right? Anyone doesn't know about Titanic? You never know what Titanic is? It's fine, but you do know the importance of that ship, right? It sunk how many people? Thousands. Huh?
Sir, if you talked about Titanic gives the guarantee it's not gonna sink, but it did.
This is what I mean.
I think that's why it sank because that time there was no DRS.
There was no DRS, and the ocean was very, very cold, right? Although they had vMotion type of small boats, but they didn't work. But few people who were saved, they told us the story. Guys, what I mean is, each ESXi host is, we don't take it as normal server because each ESXi host has very, very important VM. Just to give you an example, let's say if you have, this is an Exchange server, because I always give an example of Exchange. Guys, Exchange server, there must be, whenever Exchange server starts, there are at least 1,000 to 4,000 people connected 24/7. Why? Because if this is an Exchange VM, this is exactly like a server that is giving me emails 24/7. So making this VM is important for end users, making this ESXi host very, very important. So for that reason. Any other questions here? Okay. So now since we do understand the importance of this, now I'm going to cover the most important topic of networking, and that is single point of failures. Single point of failure. Single point of failure. Now, what is single point of failures? Guys, when you do networking, we need to, first of all, know what is a single point of failure and then fix them. Now, what is single point of failure? Single point of failure is defined as, let's say, you're going on a journey. You're going on a journey, and you're the only driver, and you have 8 people sitting in this car, or 7 people sitting. You're the only driver, and if something happens to the driver, then what happens?
You have to tow the car.
Then nobody can drive the car, right? So meaning, yes, you have to tow the car, but nobody can drive the car right away. You can't fix it. So meaning driver is a single point of failure. So when you go on a long journey, we make sure that we have 2 drivers in there. So this is just a definition of what is a single point of failure. So single point of failure is defined as that any component of your ESXi host, actually you make sure that there are 2 drivers. Okay. So all the time we make sure, I mean, if you have a single point of failure as a driver, most of the time what we do, we take the CAA membership, right? CA or other type of membership, so that you can call them and tow it away. So that is also not a, this is why, this is your kind of eliminating single point of failure, because you need their help whenever you need them, right? Guys, in here, now, any question here, guys? Any question here? So now let's look at it. We need to identify single point of failures here in the network, in this virtual network. So first of all, let's say, who is the most important part of this this complete network? VM is the most important part. Why VM is most important? Because there are, let's say, 3,500 users connected to this VM and they're using services. Now, if this VM is the most important VM, you need to make sure that this server's network should be redundant through A to Z. It should be redundant for A to Z. Now, most of the time, first of all, let's think of one network card, because most of the time we just configure one network card and work with it. So right here. Guys, single point of failure is a very important concept. Single point of failure comes in advanced concepts in networking. Single point of failure will be checked in your interviews as well. They will want to know that how would you fix networking issues if there are any? How would you fix networking issue if there are any? So single point of failure. Guys, the very first single point of failure, so first of all, so how do you define single point of failure? Any component, so here, any component that fails and cause all services to stop working. Just a one-liner. So single point of failure is defined as any component that if it stops, it will cause all services to stop on a server. So in order to, first of all, eliminate single point of failure, first of all, we need to identify them. So first of all, identify single point of failures in networking. So identify SPF in ESXi host. Networking. So identify single point of failure. Now in single point of failure, your first single point of failure, yes. So your first single point of failure, I'm starting from the outside. So first single point of failure is your physical switch. You have only one physical switch connected to this one host, meaning if this switch goes down, complete host is down. So here, I'm going to just point them. Let's use the other marker. So I'm just going to number them with this. I know it won't be clear with this. So first single point of failure is a physical switch. So first of all, we're identifying it. So first is this. Second is your PNIC. If your one PNIC goes down, it's down. If you have one. I mean, to start with, you will have one. In this, we have only one. So I'm just giving you just one. If you have one, yes, it is one. Second is this, single point of failure. Third is your management port. Management port is your single point of failure. So this is the third one. Because you have only one management port. Now, even though you have multiple cards, it doesn't mean you have multiple management ports. You have to configure them. So third one is it. Fourth one is your virtual switch. Your virtual switch is single point of failure. And fifth one is your VNIC. Your VNIC is a single point of failure. So there are 5 single point of failures here about networking. I'm not talking about storage yet. Huh? Fourth one is switch. The V standard switch. V standard switch is your fourth. So at any point in time, it is exactly like a driver. If driver is not there, your car is stopped. And exactly in the same manner, if physical switch is down, it won't work. If PNIC is down, it won't work. If management port is down, complete everything goes to halt. And if this switch goes down, then everything goes to halt. Yes.
The management port and standard switch is not the same. I know it's a different thing, but it's not.
No, it's not the same. Because your switch might be working, but management port is down. The port is down. And here number 6 can be your port group, can also be your single point of failure. Since you have only one port group, so this is number 6. Your port group can go down. Okay. So now I'm going to write them here. So what are single point of failure? We need to identify them before we fix them. So right here, first of all, single point of failure number 1 is physical switch. Second one, PNIC. Third one, it is the management port. Fourth, V switch. Fifth, VNIC. And sixth, port group. How do you fix them? Just provide redundant of these things. There is only one, to start with, there is only one management port. As we can see here, right here, as you can see on this host. Now, on this host, if we log in here, I'm connecting to first of all, vCenter. And within vCenter, I'm connecting to host. I'm in networking. I manage networking and virtual switch. And here we can see that we have only one management port and one port group. Yes. Which one? VM port group can also be SPF. It can also be a single point of failure. Yes, it can also be a single point of failure. Okay, so 7 single point of failures, or if you include the VM network port group, that's 7. But if you're able to fix 6, you can fix the 7th one as well. Guys, again, one more time. So at one place when I went to this project, so I was given a project for VMware, and I was designing this network, and somebody already designed it. Somebody already designed how many hosts will be there, should it have DRS and everything. Guys, this person, whoever designed it before me, he never looked at single point of failures. So when I looked at the design, I saw that there was only one virtual switch inside, and then it was connected to only one physical switch. Yes, it had multiple cards, so that part was covered, but then few things were missing. The point of this example that I'm sharing with you guys, we are all sitting here, this should be on our fingertips. So the very first thing that you would look into the diagram, once you know the basics, you do know networking basics, and the second advanced thing that you all should be looking is how many single point of failures are there and how many things are redundant. Now, how do you fix it? So first of all, physical switch, bring another physical switch. So here, we, in order to do this, we'll say in order to fix, bring second virtual switch. Second physical switch, actually. Bring second virtual physical switch. And bring second PNIC as well. Bring second PNIC as well. Connect to the second switch. Yes.
Would you also worry about the router too?
Router. Yes, on the network side. But again, yes, this is a very good question. Now, should we worry about the physical router? Guys, most of the time, Physical router and physical switches are responsibility of the networking team, the people who are Cisco certified, people who are CCNA, CCI. This is their responsibility. So this is why I'm not going to go to the depth of routers here, but still, if you don't see a diagram, in diagram, routers are not redundant. You can talk to the networking team and ask them, you know what, I have made a redundant networking in this, but I don't see a double router here. If there is no second router, that could be a single point of failure. Yes. Yes. Even Titanic was not supposed to go down. No. So yes. I mean these hosts, these physical hosts, they're not supposed to go down. But as being a VMware, our responsibility is to provide a very strong configuration and installation. So you're 100% right. Routers mostly are very stable. They don't go down. But still, you can ask them and you can point that out, put it in black and white so that you ask them. Maybe in 10 years it goes down. And somebody would ask you, oh, nobody pointed that out? No, I did. It's in my email. So that thing, yes.
So when you adding another physical switch, right? I totally forgot. Do you attach to each other or just you attach it to the router, the physical bits?
So switches, yes, switches are also always connected to routers. Always remember, guys, two layer 2 device, we don't connect them to each other. Two same devices, we don't connect to each other. So this is a thumb rule in networking. What type of rule? Thumb rule in networking. Then we don't connect two computers together with a wire. Nowadays, we don't connect it. If you ever need to connect was two similar devices, right? Two similar devices cannot be connected together with a straight cable. You have to have a cross cable. So you don't need to understand what is straight cable and cross cable. We don't need to do that. But always remember, two similar devices cannot be directly connected. So meaning two switches cannot be directly connected. They connect through a layer 3 device. So router, it's a router, yes.
That's the physical card or a switch. If anything go wrong with that, so is it networking people supposed to change it?
No. Yes, physical card is their responsibility. Physical switch is their responsibility. Physical card is our responsibility. Okay, physical card on a server is our responsibility.
Even the server is somewhere far.
Yes, it must be fixed by us. Now, how do we fix, guys? The question is, if this physical card has an issue, what should we do? So, what we need to do, add a different card, and for the time being, let it go, and then ask the server vendor to replace the card. So somebody from the vendor team go to the data center, they would replace it, or sometimes they would ask you to go and replace it. So it's not a huge big thing. So here, first of all, we are working on what? Single point of failure. Single point of failure, we identified 6 or 7 single point of failure. We need to fix them. First one is physical. There is only one physical switch. And that one physical switch, we need to bring a second physical switch. Now here, I'm gonna create this server, and I'm gonna add fix these single point of failures here. So here, so create a server. To create a server, we had one physical switch, and there is one network card. It is connected here. We do have 2 port groups. So this is our current network. Now, in order to fix this, first of all, we'll bring a second switch. So I'm going to bring the second switch. Actually, we are not going to bring a second switch. We'll ask the networking team to give us another port from another switch. So we're not going to install a switch. They will provide us the second switch. Now, and then second one, add a second network card. So here you need a second PNIC. And second PNIC goes here. And it connects to the second switch. It connects to the second switch. So second card connects to the second switch. First card connects to the first switch. So the physical card. Right? Physical card. These are PNIC. This is PNIC 1, and this is PNIC 2. And this is physical switch 1, and this is physical switch 2. And now we are going to create a second virtual switch because this is also a single point of failure. So here I am going to create another switch here. Switch, and inside there will be a management port. This management port connect to this switch. So now you see how many single point of failures eliminated. So first we have two switches. So this is eliminated. We have two PNICs. This is eliminated. And then now two management ports. One management port on this and the other management port of second switch. So management port is eliminated. We have a second switch. Switch is eliminated. So here this switch name is vSwitch1. vSwitch, because the first one was vSwitch0. This is vSwitch1. And this one is second management port, and this is known as management port 1. So VMK1. VMK1. Guys, all management port must have an IP address. Management port cannot be configured without IP address. You must have IP. So the first IP address was for the first management port. When you create a second management port, we will create the second IP address. So on this management port, we're going to say that this one is 192.168.101.51. So this is why, guys, I have a provision of difference of 5 IP addresses between one host and another host. So this was 50, the second one is 55. Why? Because I wanted to use 51, 52, 53, 54 for redundant IP addresses for first host. And when you do the same thing on this one, we'll call the second IP address 56. So 56. Question? No? Angadai?
So when you
No. Okay.
when you try to connect with the EXI host through web client or vSphere client, whatever,
It connects to the first IP address. Right here.
but I have a choice.
You have a choice too. Yes, you have a choice. Yes, you have a choice. So guys, how many management ports are there now? Two management ports. So you see, is it difficult to understand? Guys, it's very simple to understand. It's just a lot of information. We need to digest it. We need to register it.
This is sir, the first, the upper one.
This is the first one. This is the default one.
Zero,
This is vSwitch0. Yes.
Zero. Second one is vSwitch.
We need to create it. Yes. We need to create it. Second one, we need to create it. VNIC, I created it. Oh, I'm gonna create the VNIC. Yes. And now, guys, let's look at this. How many single point of failures are eliminated? First of all, do we have a second switch? Yes or no?
Yes.
We do have a second switch. Do we have a second network card? Yes. Do we have a second management port? Yes. Did we assign IP address to second management port? Yes. Can we have a management port without IP address? No. Management port must have a IP address. And the next one, VNIC. So what we're going to do, since this is our most important exchange server, and how many people are connected to this? 35,000 3,500 people are connected, or maybe even 1,000 people, guys. Even 1,000 people is huge. So we are going to add a second VNIC here. And then where do we connect to? We connect it to the second VM port right here. So now you have a second VNIC that is connected to a second VM network of the second switch. So meaning now this VM has two paths as well. It can be connected from this switch and connect outside. Now, if this is not working, then it can go from here and go outside. So in both cases, it is going outside.
The second switch which you created here,
Yes.
it's also a physical, right?
No, this is a virtual switch inside. So yes, it is inside ESXi. So just like there was one default switch, we can add a second switch here. So now this is our responsibility, but adding second physical switch is not our responsibility. It is network team's responsibility. Yes.
I remember doing this thing. There was somewhere we had to put a gateway.
Gateway mostly when you set up this IP address, you have to put a gateway. Guys, whenever you are asked to put a gateway, we can put one for a gateway. Just 101.1. Now, guys, let's remember this. Something about a gateway. Now, gateway. Have you ever seen a gateway? Yeah. Gateway, it is in TCP/IP settings, IP address, subnet mask, and the third option is gateway. Now, remember this thumb rule for the gateway in networking. Gateway. As long as your computers are not going outside your network. As long as your computers are not going outside your network, as long as your computers are not going outside your subnet, you don't need a gateway. So even if gateway is empty, it's fine. This is why in our all of the labs we don't use gateway.
Local intranet, you
It is, as long as they don't go outside this subnet. As long as your all machines are from this one subnet, you don't need a gateway. Yes.
Sir, if we have a super scope, so we need a gateway.
Now Super Scoop automatically make two subnets as one subnet.
So, but sometimes we have a problem if we have storage on one of the super scopes, like suppose 168 dot 1 dot something and 2 dot something. If it's sitting on 1 dot something, any computers that's given DHCP from 2 dot something, it has a problem.
So then you have to have a proper routing. Then you have to have a proper routing. Routers. So just to answer your question, I mean everybody else don't need to understand this question. To answer your question, it is only in some specific scenarios. Guys, this router, the router is intelligent enough to learn network around it. So it automatically learns the network, whoever is sitting in the neighborhood. If it is not routing between two subnets, the router is not routing between two subnets, it's a problem with the router.
Do you have to have two routers with
One router connected to two switches. Okay. So guys, here, let's look at this. Today we are going through the networking. In networking, we are going through a very important topic that is known as single point of failure. I can't hear everyone. It is known as single point of failure. It is known as single point of failure. And single point of failure, in order to fix single point of failure, the very first stage is to identify them. Identify them. You're a driver. If you don't identify this and you have to travel 5,000 kilometers, then you didn't identify it. It's not your family's fault that nobody else can drive here, and you have to drive for 5,000 kilometers. Okay. So first of all, you need to identify them, guys. Now, why am I keep on saying you need to identify them? Why am I keep on saying you must identify them? Guys, the reason is that as being a VMware admin, if you're not able to identify the single point of failures here, it means that you don't have enough experience working with virtual networks. You don't have. It is so on a very basic understanding. Yes, I do know what is virtual switches, ports, and this and that. If you don't understand this concept, guys, you don't know anything about networking. So this is a very important concept. So single point of failure is anything that is a showstopper component. That is a showstopper component. It will completely stop everything in this. So in order to do this, we provided a second switch. We provided a second network card. We provided a second virtual switch. We provided a second management port and provided a second IP address. And then we provided a second VNIC that connects to the second switch. Now, we actually covered all of them here. All of them. Now, just to make it more stronger. Just to make it more stronger. Because guys, when one switch needs to fail over to the other switch, whenever. So let's think of this driver. Let's think of this driver. Why are we sleeping? Yes, you're not. Okay, I know people are tired. I know people are tired. But guys, we shouldn't be tired. Should we be tired?
no.
We shouldn't be. We're very close to our destination, inshallah. Are we?
Yes.
Inshallah, we are. So we need to be very
Alert.
alert, attentive, energetic. And how can we be energetic? Yes, everybody stand up, guys. Everybody stand up. We are too comfortable sitting on our. I know some of you are not feeling well, but I still want you to stand up, please. I still want you to stand up and actually just stand up and look at the whiteboard. Just try to digest this information. Just try to digest this information. Maybe yes. Everybody stand up and. So whoever was sleeping can stay stand. No. Guys, everybody sit down. Thank you. Actually, Amin was suggesting that we should do some stretching and some exercise, but it's fine. So in the next time we'll do this. We'll do this. Yes, dumbbells too. Maybe smaller. Okay. So we're gonna go for a break. Yes, why are you there? 2 minutes? Okay. 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 It's 2 minutes. No, it's not. Okay, here. Guys. Here, let's look at this. So just, do we understand this concept now? Single point of failures. Single point of failure. Do we understand this concept now? Single point of failure. Single point of failure is a very important component that we need to keep an eye on and kind of provide redundant support. Now, just to make this a more stronger, guys, always remember this. Whenever a service has to fail over from one place to another, there will be a small little disturbance. So we don't want services to fail over. We don't want services to fail. Because let's say you do have redundant everything, guys, but whenever one service need to fail over from one network card, one switch to another switch, one card to another card, one management port to another management port, one switch to another switch, one VNIC to another, guys, there will be disturbance. Do you understand? There will be disturbance. Now, what kind of disturbance? It is exactly the same disturbance. Let's say you have two drivers sitting here, and one is saying, you know what, I can't drive anymore. So, would you not stop the car and change the driver? You have to. You have to, or maybe you're a super driver and you would say, okay, let's switch. You can. You have to. Maybe you might have to stop for maybe 5 minutes. You have to stop here, guys. In maybe this example won't exactly apply here, guys. Here, it might be a loss of few bits or few bytes, few bits, and I'm saying few bits and few bytes. It might be completely ignorable for the end users, but there will be loss whenever things fail. So we don't want them to fail over. So now we're moving on to the second step of making a single point of failure, that there shouldn't be a time when it should apply single point of failure. First of all, we need to have everything redundant. Do we understand this?
Yes.
Guys, secondly, in order to make it more stronger, what I would do, I would add one more network card here with them, both of them. Now, meaning, if this card goes down, it shouldn't fail over to this side. It would just use another card on the same network. It won't fail over. So basically, you're making your first PNIC more stronger, so it shouldn't fail over. Now this is multiple cards, and how many advantages are for multiple cards? 3 advantages. 3 advantages. Double bandwidth. So now this is 2 GB of bandwidth. 2 GB of bandwidth. And the second one, it can fail over internally. It doesn't have to fail over externally. This is failing over externally. Now, let's say this completely goes down, then it must go here. But let's say if this was just down here, to this card, it can still connect to the second card here. Okay, so it is right here. Do we understand this? We provided a double redundancy. So for single point of failure is there, but we don't want this to happen. So we provided 2 network cards. How many network cards? 2 network. Guys, here what we can do is now. Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Yes.
If both network cards are together, if one fails and it switches to other, does it not keep any?
It's not. It won't be any disturbance because they are actually. It is connecting to the same. It is connecting to the same point. It's not going to the other switch. So this is one thing. And second is, we'll create a second management port in here. So we'll create a second management port here. So this was VMK1, and we create VMK2. And IP address will be, because management port cannot be without IP address, it will be 52. So it is going to be a bit more complex right after this. One more time. I'm going through this one more time. No, it's just a few more components to be added. So here I'm gonna remove this. So we are trying to eliminate that you don't have to change the drivers. It should be automatically done. So here we said we will add a second network card. Do we understand this? That you added a second network card. If one card goes down, second card is already there. It doesn't have to fail over to the other side or other switch. Okay. And same thing, if this management port goes down, it has to fail over to this port, this other switch port. So we're saying that on the same switch, we provide a second management port. So now this server has 3 management ports. One was default, second was on the second switch, and third one is sitting here with the default port. Yes.
While we adding all the network cards, switches, and everything, how does it reflect over the environment? I mean, does it take more space, or do we need licenses for extra cards?
No, nothing. It is just inside ESXi host. So guys, the question here is, do we need to pay anything extra in order to have this redundancy? As far as ESXi host is concerned, no. But physical switch, yes. Maybe your company doesn't have a second switch, so they might have to pay for the second switch. But this is not our responsibility. This is network team's responsibility. You're asking them, you know what, I need a second switch. I need a second switch. I can't rely on only one switch. And in some places, medium-sized company, they would say, no, we have no choice. We'll just have to live with this. So, okay, I asked you, you don't have it. It's your problem, not my problem. But as long as you can identify, that's the best we can do with this. Okay. Now here, second management port. And then we can do the same thing here. We can add a second network card and make a NIC teaming inside. NIC teaming. Guys, right in the beginning of Server 2012, we did NIC teaming from Server 2012. In Server 2012, there is an option we can do NIC teaming. So we can do a NIC teaming inside. Now, once you do a NIC teaming inside, again, you're providing redundant stuff. So one more time, guys, networking is not difficult topic to understand. If we can understand it in logical manner, it's so easy. It's so easy, but it's very complex when you don't understand it. Now, just by looking at all this information, if you can logically remember this, that there is a physical switch, there is a PNIC, there is a management port, management connects here, you have VNICs, everything, and then we start filling up this information. So now let's do a written exercise. So on a blank page, guys, please open a blank page. It's a 2-step exercise. I want you to create first a server with all the components without SPFs. I want you to create a server with all networking components on a blank page without SPF, and then show me the diagram. Raise your hand that you've done it, and I want to see each and every component. So check your diagram twice in order not to miss any component in a basic networking, and then add, once you show it to me, then add the SPFs and fix it. Okay. Okay. So guys, first of all, in VMware, being a VMware admin, we must understand that how to read your environment and your server. Because if you're not able to read your environment and your server, you won't be able to add anything new. So for that reason, first of all, let's understand this. So right here, this is what we have discussed. That this is our server, and what we are looking at is where is my virtual switches, where is my port group that I'm talking about, and all those things. Now going back here, since we do understand these, I'm going to log into my vCenter right here. So this is my vCenter here. I'm logged into a web client. And guys, you should be able to do it from both clients, from legacy client and from web client as well. So from a web client and legacy client, I'm going to quickly show you the differences here. So this is my web client here. And in web client, you need to first of all connect to vCenter. And when you connect it to a vCenter, then you need to go to the host. And within the host, you need to always go to manage. Manage is like configuration in your web client. In legacy client, it is called configuration. Now in here, you need to go to manage, then you need to go to networking, and now you're here. So in this, Let me see if I can connect to my legacy client as well. So our first task is everybody's first task is to add 3 network cards to ESXi1. Add 3 network cards to ESXi1. So let's add them together, guys. Let's add them together and let's do it in this fashion. Now, there are some people who know how to do this. There are some people who don't know how to do this. Guys, let's work together. So each line is one line. And then if you're done, you can work together. And then Umar and Sami and Hubab, you're one line, and then there you're one line. And here the first line is this complete. So whoever is able to do it, you can do it all together. I'm doing it here. It is just for the people who are not following me. So our, yes, on ESXi host, our very first task is just add 3 physical network cards. You already have one. I want you to add 3 cards. 3 cards. So the steps we need to do, guys, the steps we need to do are these. We need to first add 3 physical network cards, number one, and then we need to add, and then later on we're gonna create the second switch. And then within the second switch, we create a second management port, assign this IP address. So once this is done, then at the end we'll add a second network card on a VM. So go step by step. Guys, just like in real life, we solve bigger problems by dividing them into smaller problems. Exactly in this, you can do these configurations, then you know what you need to do and do it one by one. Do not try to attack the servers at the same time, create VMs. No, go one by one on each one of them. So in the first stage, I'm just adding network cards. Now, one common mistake is that we add network cards to a vCenter. Guys, you don't need to add card to a vCenter. You need to add card to ESXi host. So go to ESXi host. So we go to ESXi host. Are you doing it? Okay. Anybody needs help, just raise your hand so that we have people here who already know this stuff. They can help. They can help. So first of all, add card to ESXi host. Three. Remember this, we are following this strategy. So you already have one, you need to add 1, 2, and 3. So ESXi host. Now, what is one thing we need to remember about adding a card? You must restart ESXi host. Because when you add a card in ESXi host, it must be restarted. So here.
So we add 2 more, and then there will be 3.
No, you have 1 or 2.
One.
If there is only 1, then add 2, 3 more. So this is why I'm saying add 3 cards. Yes. Yes. So how do I add a card? All you need to do is go to the VM properties. Just go to VM properties and settings. And in here, you need to do, you need to add card number 1. So I'm going to add a card. And here I'm going to say network card. Leave it to net. Next. You don't have to do anything. And you added a card 1. So I already have 1 card. I have added second card. And now I'm going to add the third card. So add. What is one rule to remember in order to do these projects? Divide bigger problem into smaller problem. So we have a bigger task of providing SPF to this server, but we are starting from the first point. So here, so this is done. So I've added 4 cards and done. Now, guys, the important thing here is you have added cards, but they don't show up in networking. They won't show up. So now how do I know they won't show up in networking? All I need to do is go to vCenter. Go to vCenter. So I'm going to go here. So I'll leave ESXi host here, and I'm going to go to the networking. In networking, on this server, if I go to here, physical adapters. So on your 50, if I go to physical adapters, it should show me 4 if it automatically detects them. But here, it shows me only 1. It can be refreshed
Yes.
without restarting? Without restarting? Yes, it should be restart. So the thing that I want to show you, that without restarting, it just shows you 1.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to go onto ESXi host. I can just restart it here, but we need to know the proper way of restarting ESXi host. Proper way can be done both ways. From here, from the ESXi host itself, as you can see right here at the end, right here. Oh, what happened to this? Okay, it's right here F12. So on ESXi host, you should do F12 and restart from here. Or what you can do, you can restart it from vCenter as well. Now in vCenter, we are going to restart it from vCenter. So we can restart it from vCenter. Where should I go? So I need to go to settings. I can right click and yes, I can right click. Basically it's right click, guys. So right click and reboot. Right click and reboot.
So you can restart click the settings.
I think maybe there is, but this is the best way.
You just click on the setting and
Oh, to add the card? For now, it won't show up.
just restart from there on this.
Oh, it can be restart from the settings too?
No,
Yeah, from here
you can just go to power.
it is disconnected and we have to connect it again.
From right
On the
here?
right side, upper
From
right.
right here?
Yeah.
No, this is not a proper way of doing it. Guys, whenever you restart it from VMware outside, it means you're pulling out the plug. It's not a good way of doing it. You must do it either from vCenter, and here it's asking you for a reason why are you restarting the. So here this is for logging purposes. So I'm gonna say restarting ESXi1 to add 3 additional physical cards. I'm going to say PNX. So once it is done, here on this, it should restart in few moments. Now, once it restarts, after that, the second step will be to create a second switch. If you're done with this, guys, create a second switch. Create a second switch. Second switch for now. Just create a second virtual switch.
I'm telling you straight over.
Yes. What is the confusion?
Straight in the dictionary.
I have already added those 4 cards.
At vSphere vSphere
Okay.
vSphere
So here
वाला डलेगा ना
it's fine. It's fine. So let me go there. I'll explain. I'll explain.
दोबारा लिखे दोबारा करना मुझे सेम वैसे ही करना है जैसे लेवल वो लेफ्ट 7 और 8 में किया वीडियो में
क्या चीज?
उसमें भी सेम यही किया है नेटवर्क कार्ड बना के और फिर उसके बाद उसके उनको स्विचेस को उनके साथ दो स्विचेस लगाए थे और लेकिन उसमें हमने वीएम अलग बना के उसको किया था
हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, लेकिन मुझे याद नहीं है कि हमने क्या किया था उस वक्त, लेकिन अभी आपने ये करना
जी सर ठीक है तकरीबन
ऐसे ही था वो।
तो इसमें सिर्फ वीएम ऐड नहीं कर रहे इसमें
ठीक है।
वीएम भी ऐड किए थे
अच्छा
बस।
ठीक है यार ये क्या ओके
स्विच में डिफॉल्ट सेटिंग्स
किसमें switch में so guys switch when you do a switch, when you add a switch, I'm going to show you how to add it. There are a few things that we need to understand. Guys, at the same time, add 3 network cards to your second host as well. Just add 3 network cards to your second host as well. We're going to need them later. So go to your second host and add 3 network cards. Sakib, what's happening? Your vCenter is not working?
Home lab is working.
Okay, so are you working on home lab for doing this lab? It is very important, Sakib, for now. We'll fix the vCenter. vCenter issue is just related to maybe improper restart or something. It can be fixed. It's just a matter of maybe in his case services are working. I think it's just the Internet Explorer security.
I did on the home lab and it's working.
It's working now. What did you do?
Same internet network.
Okay. Yeah, just those things.
It is Adobe install.
Yes, we need to install it Adobe Acrobat on Flash
Sir, why wasn't doing either? So I downloaded it on the host.
and then copied it there. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Even in real environment, you won't get internet on vCenter. So
Third one. Looks like it's the third one. Third one. Third one. Yeah, so I'm not waiting to. Third one.
So, guys, as soon as your ESXi host comes back, I need to go into web and I'll show you what those settings are. I'll show you what those settings are. So, when you add a new switch or when you add anything to ESXi or vCenter, it will give you 3 options. You can add a VM network, a port group. You can add a physical card. And the last one is you can add a management port. So I'm going to show you where the setting as soon as my ESXi comes back.
So which one we adding? Virtual machine? Four? First?
No,
No. The first one?
we're creating a switch. So I'm-
Talking about this one.
hmm?
I was talking about this one.
Which one?
Let's start with this one.
We shouldn't do this. Here I'm just doing it for, I mean, when you send a reboot command, it will take time. So I'm just doing it. Yes. Do not do that at home, children.
And then with that target service, I open it and it looks
Which target service?
for open pattern.
Oh, that. Yes, you started the service and it started working.
The only thing I need to
Ta-da!
do
You
is,
oh,
I don't know how to how
How
to
to
that now.
create a SIM switch.
huh?
I did that.
Oh, you did that. Which option you selected? Third one.
Third one.
Third option. You need to select the third. I'm going to explain that for now. For the switch, you need to select the third option when you select the switch. So as soon as it comes back, so it is starting up.
So select the target device and the target device is something. When you start.
Umar, is working for you?
So, you know, 5 of and 6 and
Okay,
I'm just waiting for 5.
fine. Okay, while we are waiting for this to start, let's take a 10 minutes break. And right after the break, we'll continue with this. What do you think? Continue this, then there won't be any other break. Oh, एनर्जी ड्रिंक से फर्क पड़ता है वैसे, नींद खराब हो जाती है. Okay, so yes, let's take a 15 minutes break, guys. 15 minutes break, and we'll come back after the break. Ta-da! Oh, my machine is back on. Okay, no break. No, break time. We had 3 network cards to each ESXi host, and then we restarted. Everyone. Everyone. So just before we added the second we added network card. Now I'm gonna show you how to add a switch. So it's right here. In order to add a switch, all we need to do is this. We need to log into our vCenter. we need to log in to our vCenter. So I'm in a vCenter. Before logging into a vCenter, make sure that hosts are working fine. So hosts are here, and all I need to do, I need to go onto a vCenter and make sure it is connected. Now, guys, in here, always make sure, everyone, always make sure that here, if you see a triangle here, guys, if you don't be panicked, this is a triangle simply means that it's a warning. Now, how do you see what warning is there? And guys, this is like in a real environment, you will always see icons like this. So in order to read this, all you need to do, you need to go to the summary page. You need to go to summary page, and within summary page, it most of the time it will display the warning right here. Once it loads, it should display a warning right here. And actually it's right here, this one.
You can see on the right side when the
And you can see it here in alarms. You can see the warning here as well. But this warning is just saying that quick starts, this is not up to date yet. I mean, this ESXi host is not up to date, so it's fine. So even if it is here, it's okay. And sometime what you can do is you can right click on this warning and reset to green. You can use, if you can move your mouse, everyone, if you can move, if somebody says, oh, you know what, just remove the warning. So all you need to do is move your mouse right here and you can say reset to green. Once you reset to green, it will go and the warning will go. But if it is a real issue, then the warning comes back again. So here I just removed it. Now warning is still connected. So basically it's just not up to date. It's fine. It's not a big issue. But if it is a exclamation red sign, then we most of the time will fix it. It might be some service not working. But in general, you do see the task manager type scenario right here for this host. It's saying how much CPU is in use, how much memory is in use, and how much storage is in use. Now, what we need to do is I need to create a second switch. Number one, I need to see where are my network cards. And secondly, I need to create a second switch. So first of all, we need to see where is my network card. It's getting too cold. So it is going to just stop now because it's going to increase one time. Okay. Here. So here, let's look at it. Manage. We'll go to manage. And within manage, I need to go to networking. Now, manage is divided into all these things: settings, networking, storage, alarm, tags, and permissions. So first of all, we need to go to networking. In setting, these are general settings for this ESXi host. But I need to go to networking. And within networking, my first stop is virtual switches. Now this virtual switch here, it shows me I have only one virtual switch, which is based on our diagram. This is the basic one virtual switch. Now, if we do understand the components of this virtual switch, we can see that here I have only one network card attached. And then secondly, I have two. I have here, it is a VM network port group and I have management network port group. So this is, we all understand this picture. Do we understand this picture? Yes, this is all we understand. Now what I need to do, I need to add a one network. So out of three network cards, I need to add the second network card to this switch. So first of all, I need to see how many physical cards do I have on this ESXi host. So guys, in order to see that, you need to go to the physical adapters. So physical adapters on this ESXi host. Everyone, physical adapter on this ESXi host, you go to physical adapter, and here it doesn't show me all the three adapters here. So here, all you need to do, you need to kind of refresh the host networking. Because since after restarting, you need to refresh the vCenter console. So here I'm going to go here and refresh, and hopefully it should bring up all of the additional network cards. I restarted them. So here I do see the card. Now this won't come if you don't restart the ESXi host. So once it is done, now guys, look at this here. It says that only one card is in use and other cards are not in use. So now remember one thing. One card can only be part of one switch. If one card is connected to one switch, it cannot be added to the second switch. So according to our SPS, we need to have two cards on switch 0 and two cards on switch 1. So for that, what we need to do is we need to go back to the switches. So I need to add VNIC 0, VNIC 1 to switch number 1, switch 0. So for that, I need to go back to switches. I need to go back to switches, and right here within this switch, now it can be done in few different ways. It can be done from adding the switches as well. So here I need to add something to this switch. So in order to do that, I need to go to do I need to go to edit setting? Let's check edit settings. Okay, in edit setting I can do it. In edit settings I can do it. I need to go here, this one, first one. So I need to add second network card to vSwitch 0, select vSwitch 0, and then select the first option. Okay, when you select the first option, everybody is there on this page? What happened? Are you guys there?
Yes.
So here you need to select vSwitch 0, then select this first option, and then in this it is saying what do you want to add. I don't need to add a management port. I don't need to add VM virtual port group. I need to add a physical adapter actually. So I select the second option. So these three options are fine, but guys, there is a little confusion in these. Here it doesn't say anywhere if you want to add a second switch. So if you ever need to add a second switch, we go to the third option. But for now, I just need to add one card to switch 0. So all you need to do, physical switch adapter, and then next. And now it should show you that, so it's asking you which switch do you want to add, or do you want to create a new switch? I need to add one card just to vSwitch 0. So in that case, I'll leave selected this and then go to next. And in this, now it should show me three. Now it should show me three separate cards. And within these cards, actually it's not showing. We need to add a card here. So you will click the plus sign and then select one of the network cards and then press OK. Now what I did, I just added second card to the default switch. Now if you need to see that again one more time, I'll do it again. All you need to do, first of all, we verify physical adapters. So I just verified the physical adapter, and secondly, I need to go to the switch, and within switch, I'll select this option, and right here, I would say I need to add a physical card, and then you go next, and within this, I keep selected vSwitch 0 and next, and then in this, I'm going to say add a card. So I'm going to add a card which is VNIC 0, VNIC 1, and as soon as it is added. Now guys, in this screen, there are three options. One option is active NICs. The other option is standby NICs, and the third option is unused. So guys, let's look at this. For example, if you want this VNIC 1, if you want the VNIC 1 to be completely unused, so it will be completely unused, meaning, first of all, I dedicated this card for switch 0, but it won't be in use unless I change it to be used. Now, why would I select this option? Anyone? Why would I select this option, this card to be completely unused?
Just keep it for future.
We keep it for future, number one. And second reason is so that it shouldn't be added to any other switch. So it will be dedicated to this switch, but not used. Reserving it basically. But we can also use it as standby. And standby simply means that if one card fails, then this will be used. It will be automatically used. But the first option means no, it will be used all the time. It will give double bandwidth. It will be redundant, and it will automatically fail over. So standby, it won't use, but automatically use when the first fails. And unused is, it won't be used ever unless you change it. So we'll keep it as active cards. Okay. And next. And as soon as you go next and finish, now you should see in few moments here that this will be added to the switch. So it's just loading it. So the second card. So now we did two tasks. One, adding all of the cards. Guys, as you can see, it's not very difficult. It's just that you go one step at a time and then you'll kind of get used to it. So here, so once this is added. Now the third task I need to do, I need to create a new switch. So I'm going to create this switch and create a new management port. So this is my third task. So my first task is done. My first task was to make a redundant, give two network cards. So basically this is just to have a single point of failure within this card.
It's a
With-
network cards on the host.
Yes. So right here, all we need to do is this. Secondly, now I need to add a switch. What am I doing? Adding a switch. In order to add a switch, you keep selected this here. And but before that, let's verify our physical adapters. I'll go back to physical adapter. Now it says that first two cards are dedicated to switch 1, and the next two cards are just sitting there doing nothing. They're not connected to anyone. Now I'll go back to switch, and here I'm gonna again select this. Now I need a second switch actually. Now second switch, all you need to do, select the first option, and here it says, okay, so what do you want to do? I can say I need to create a VM kernel adapter, or you can say you need to create a VM port group. So it's one of the two options here. Now in this case, this is what we need to do, guys. Since I need a second management port here, so I'm gonna go with the first option. I need to select second port here. I need a management port here, so I'm gonna go to the first option. If you only need a VM port group, then you go to the third option. Guys, in all the three options, it will give you an option to create a new switch. So I'm gonna select the first option. And we need to be 100% clear. Why am I selecting the first option? No. It is because of VM kernel port. I need a second management port on this switch. That's why I'm going for the first option. Just close it, please. Just close. Shut. And one more time. And that's it. Yes.
Creating a new switch, or you're adding a port resistance? Are you creating a new switch?
No. So I'm gonna add a port. And then it will ask me, should this port be added to the same switch or a new switch? So I'm gonna start with adding a port. I'm gonna say I need a port. And as soon as I do, as you can see, if I go to the next step, right here it says, okay, do you want to add a port on the same switch or a new switch? I'm gonna say, no, I need a new switch here now. So this is where I am adding a port along with the switch. And always remember, whenever you add a management port, you must assign IP address. So our IP address we're gonna assign is 51. So let's check this out. So new standard switch. So I'm gonna select a new standard switch question. So we'll go with the second here. One more time, this is what I'm doing. I am creating a new switch. You go to the first option, and then right here we select the first one, which is create a new management port. Otherwise, we're creating new management port to have a redundant management port. So if one doesn't work, we can connect to the second one. Okay. And now here, go to next. And in this, I'm going to create a new switch. Yes.
So we already used the physical adapter.
So we're going to use the third adapter.
No, I already used
You have no adapters available. So go back to switch 1 and remove the two adapters from there. If you have assigned all your adapter to vSwitch 0, guys, you need to remove those adapters from there. Okay, I'm going to show you how to remove them later. But for now, let me create a new switch. And in a new switch, it's saying, okay, so how many cards do we need to add? I need to add 2 cards. So here you should be able to see 2 cards here. So one card, they should be added one by one. So I'm going to add both cards one by one. So this switch will have 2 network cards. It's up to you. You can put them standby or place them as unused.
Add them together.
Add them. Oh, you can add them together as well. Okay, that's fine.
Which
And
sign is for standby?
huh?
Which sign is for standby?
No. One is 10.
No. We're not putting anyone for standby. We're using both as active cards. So here just press the plus sign. Are we there? Are you not doing it? Following it? Okay. And then next. And here now we need to label that what will be the label of this network VM kernel port. So this port, you can leave it as is. It will be called VM kernel port, or I can call it VMK1. I can call it VM. No, it's not case sensitive. It's not case sensitive. But this one is just the name of the management port. So you can leave it as is, or you can rename it to one. It's fine in both cases. But important thing here is which type of traffic do you need on this management port? Remember, we can do 4 traffics. This management port can be used for vMotion, fault tolerance management, and virtual SAN, which is iSCSI actually. So here we're going to go with just a management traffic. I'm going to say this port will be used for management traffic. So once you select management traffic here, you can choose all of them as well. You can choose all of them. This is all up to you. But for now, we're just selecting one management traffic. It is VMK means it's a management port. So VMK, it is VM kernel 1. It's up to you. Yes, that's a good idea as well. If you want to just write here that this is for management, but otherwise, when you go to the setting, you will see that which things are selected for this. So we'll leave that as is. VMK1, yes.
How does it distribute the traffic? How does it decide that vMotion goes first or
Yes. So guys, it's a very good question. If one port is used for 4 type of things, it is exactly like a 401 with all types of traffic. So you cannot distinguish between whichever traffic is coming in, it would let it go. But let's say if you haven't selected anything, then this road is not going to be used for vMotion. So this road won't allow any vMotion traffic. This road won't allow any FT traffic. As long as you select them, that traffic will go through. Otherwise, it won't let those traffic go. Okay? So the best practice in this, guys, the question is, what is the best practice for creating management port for different type of traffic? Best practice is create separate management ports for each type of traffic. So separate management port for vMotion, separate management port for iSCSI, separate management. So we create separate management port. So for now, we just need a port for management traffic.
Do these ports have to be separate adapters?
Yes, so the best practice is separate adapters, separate ports. Yes. Okay. So right here, I'm going to go with management and next. As soon as you go now, since I said we decided that management port must have IP address. So there are 2 ways. Either you let it assigned from DHCP or you assign it statically. We're going to assign it statically. If you have DHCP, even though if you have DHCP, we won't use DHCP because this is a management port. It's an important port. We need to assign manually. So here we're going to go with 192, 101, and 51. I mean, you can use any unused IP address, not 51, not 52. But I mean, logically, that is why we kept the 5 IPs different so that we can use additional IP addresses for this. Now in this, subnet mask will be 255.0, and we'll leave everything as is and next. And leave everything as is and finish. Now, once this is done, in few moments, you would see the second switch is created and it has a new management port. Now, in this case, what we did so far, we have 2 cards here. We do have 2 cards here. We have a second switch. We do have a management port. And now the last thing I'm going to do, add second network card here and connect it to this network on this side. So here it is creating it. Once it is created, then we can use it. So guys, single point of failure is a very important concept that we need to understand. Now this is practically, it is very, very important concept. Oh yes. So here, first of all, let's verify what we did. We just went to vSwitch 1. Right here within vSwitch 1, it should show me that it has here a port group for management group and 2 network cards. Now in here, if you need to remove a network card, I think you can do it from here. So select the vSwitch 0, and then you can go back to in edit settings.
Just right click and
No, this red no from the bottom.
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh, here. Yes, on edit. And from here, no.
No, sir, the cross sign here.
So
The one
you
you
can
just
just
click,
select and
right?
cross this.
No,
right?
this is, you will
Sir,
delete this.
No, sir, upside. if we have to delete we will select the switch and then cross it and then
This
it
one?
will just remove.
The complete switch.
Yeah, if we want
No,
to
we just need to remove one network card. We just need to remove a network card. I think it is done from where? Okay, yes, that's right. We can select the switch, go here, and then we'll go back, let's say inside here, and next. Oh, no, I have to select the switch. I need to select physical adapter, and then next, and next, and right here, yes, we can remove, can we? Remove selected adapter. Find out, guys. We have VMware gurus sitting here. We need to find out how to remove a adapter. Okay, so what is the easiest way? Here's the easiest way. And now remove it from web client. So I'm gonna say vSphere web client web.
Sir, if you go highlight the switch
Mm-hmm.
and do cross on it, the top one, it says remove selected standard switch.
That's layout.
You can.
It
Did you
says-
remove it?
It says remove.
Okay,
It
from
says
where?
remove. It's like it's,
Okay, it's right here. It's right here. So you select networking virtual switch and right here manage. Okay, you can check that out. Yes.
and even cross if you do it says right here.
When you cross it, it says that remove adapter, remove a switch.
No, sir, if we select this one and then it can
Yeah, green is actually.
yeah.
So go back.
So you can go cancel
That's okay.
and then from the green,
Third
yeah, green one, yeah, third one.
Switch it on.
Here it is. Yes.
Yeah.
So
As you select, it will be the red and then you can.
excellent. So guys, this same situation you will see in real environments as well. So don't be panicked. And the important thing is don't show panic on your face. That's something you don't know. So the most important thing is just keep calm and try to look for the thing and just fix it. So guys here, so we did this. Now the last thing that I need to do is this guy. I need to add a new network card here on VM and then connect it to this switch. Now, can anyone tell me that what can this VM, I can add a second network card and add it to the second switch just by looking at this. Can I? So yes, I do understand we can add a second network card here.
Yeah.
But my question is that can you connect this VM to this switch at this point? So just say yes or no, and then we'll ask the reason. You're saying no.
I'll say yes.
You'll say yes. So this I'm gonna add a second network card here, and which is not an issue. We right click and go into settings and select the network card. But can you connect the second network card here to the switch?
Yes.
Yes. Look again. Look
No,
again.
sir, there is no
Yes.
VM
Yes, we can.
management code here. Oh,
What do you say?
VM
As we do.
network code.
So you wanna add VM on a standard switch?
No.
On this switch. On this switch.
No, we cannot do that. We do not have a port.
Yes, sir, we can do this.
You don't have a VM port group, guys. You're right. And you're right. Guys, in order to add a VM, this is a VM kernel port group. And management port group, VMs cannot be attached. Remember we discussed here that a VM can only be attached to a VM port group.
But
And-
the switch has a management.
No, this has a management port group.
Oh, management, no, you management you can.
So that's why I asked you for standard switch.
It is a standard switch. But this is switch number 2 and it does not have VM port group. Oh man, is this not okay? Thank you. As long as we understand. So guys, the reason we cannot add this VM to this switch is because there is no VM port group on this.
We cannot create.
We can create now we're going to create a port group here. So first we need to create a VM port group on this and then add the second network card to this port group. Now, what is it like for VM port group? If you look at vSwitch 0, guys, if you look at vSwitch 0, on vSwitch 0, you see two port groups, one port group and second port group. So here you do have VM network port group, but on vSwitch 1, there is no VM port group. And for that reason, VMs cannot be added to that port group. So in this case, all you need to do is just select the first option again, one more time on vSwitch 1. So keep selected vSwitch 1, keep selected vSwitch 1 and go to the first option. And within the first option, all you need to do is here, now this time I'm going to say I need to create a VM port group. So virtual machine port group. So in this case, I'll select the third option. And in this case, I'm going to go next. And in this, I am going to do it on vSwitch 1, not on vSwitch 0. So next. And here we're going to name it VM Network 2. VM Network 2. So it is automatically known as VM Network 2. And then next. And as soon as you go next and finish, it will be second is created. Now the next steps are really easy. Next steps are you go to this VM, go to the settings, add a second network card, and within the network of the second network card, just add it here. So what I did, it is just refreshing and it will create a second network. It will create a second. No, we should be able to see it here.
Yeah, on this network we can add the
Yeah. So now go to the VM, and add a second network card. Huh? You do have a VM. You don't have any VM here? You don't have any VM on any host? Or is there a VM? So just select any VM. Just select any VM. Are you able to add a port group? Port group. So on any VM, here, guys, yes, edit setting on any VM. And within the VM, all you need to do is go to settings. So let's go to any other VM and go to settings, edit settings. So VM and edit settings. And within settings, you need to go to
So when it's a web client now, we have like taking on web client.
thin provisioning is when you create a new virtual machine.
Yeah, that's what I was treating as a web client. No. Show. On web client, I'm creating a new. Go next.
No, you are creating
New virtual machine on that. It should be asked.
So redo it again. So guys, here it is. So I am here now, and in this I'm gonna add
You select.
network card. So select the network card. Yes.
Here down, you can. There is option down here.
In this.
Select
In
option.
okay.
No,
In
sir,
this?
not from here. Yeah, here the bottom.
Okay.
Select
Right here, we'll go
Network.
to network
and then add.
and then add. So second network card added, but this should be connected to VM network 2. So right here, just select this network and add, and then in front of the network, just say it is connected to 2. So in this manner, now as you can see, this VM has two network card 1 and new network card. First one is connected to the first here, right here, and second one is connected to The second. What happened to your network? Make sure next time it is working. You've installed everything? Okay. So guys, this is how we do identify, eliminate single point of failure. Everyone, this is how we do it.
नहीं ये क्लिक करो ना
Yeah.
इसको क्लिक करो नहीं इसी हाँ ये 50 इसको स्विच दूसरा करो दूसरा क्लिक करो ये सेकंड नेटवर्क से कनेक्ट हो जाए और इसमें तो भी है स्विच
So guys, quickly do this exercise in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, let's do this exercise. So here, create vSwitch2, create a vSwitch2, and then remove NIC number 4 from switch 1, add it to switch 2. Quick. So you need to do an exercise in which you need to create a vSwitch2, because vSwitch 0 exists and 1 exists. 1 is there, 0 is there, 1 is there. You just need to create a new switch and remove the 4th network card and add it to the new switch. Yes. It shouldn't be that difficult. Yes. Which one? You read my mind.
So I'm just gonna remove it and I'm gonna
What?
I have done it but I'm gonna change
Okay, yeah, remove the network card from 4.
and then I'm gonna
Yes.
I missed the last.
So what do you want to do? Yeah. So here, all you need to do is create a new port there. So it has only one port. So all we need to do is and we select the third option. We need a VM network port group. And then put and it will be a switch this one. And it will be named as this. And so it will in few moments you will see a second port. But while it is coming back, so it's loading right here. So now I need
सेकंड DCV
secondly I need to go to this
बनाना है
one.
स्विच बनाना है फर्स्ट वाले के लिए हमने सब सेकंड की थी ये देखो
So just go here and assign that network card. Second, you already added the network card? Yeah, this one. So just add it to the second.
फर्स्ट ऑप्शन नेट फिजिकल नेटवर्क फिजिकल नेटवर्क ऑप्शन नेट पहले उसको ना स्विच से डिलीट करेंगे अगर स्विच पहले तो बनाना बनेगा ही नहीं उसमें नेटवर्क तो कैसे होगा हाँ ठीक है करो बनाए हाँ न्यू स्विच बनाना है ना नीचे
अच्छा आपने पहले बनाया
ओके कोई फ्री नहीं है इसको नेक्स्ट करते ये तो नेक्स्ट स्विच ओके ये जाएगा नहीं चला गया फिनिश दे दिया बना दीजिए
इधर मैनेजमेंट पोर्ट ऐड नहीं किया सही है आपका कैसा हो रहा है
आगे ओके कर दो उसको ओके करती रहो वो बना देगा स्विच बना देगा वो आपको वार्निंग दे रहा है कि इसका स्विच नहीं है और वो सर क्या कह रहे हैं स्विच 4 को डिलीट करना वो ये वाली ऑप्शन तो फिर वन को सिलेक्ट करो और ये वाली वन को सिलेक्ट करो ये ग्रीन वाली और सर ने कौन सा कहा है वी स्विच 4 इसमें तो 4 नहीं इसमें तो 4 आई है यानी कि हमारा 3 है ना 0 1 2 3 3 को क्रॉस करो गलत ना हो जाए नहीं 4 है ही नहीं है ना ग्रीन वाला करो वही वो ग्रीन वाला क्या है स्किप्स करके करना है उसमें देखो वो ऐड हो जाएगा फिर वही ग्रीन वाला करोगे तो उसमें ऐड हो जाएगा ये अब इसको करना है फिर ये ग्रीन वाला करो नहीं नहीं उसमें से निकाल के उसमें डाल देना कॉपी कर डिलीट किया उसमें स्विच उसके अंदर वो स्विच उसको लेके इधर हम आए ये देखो वी एम नेक फ्री हम इधर ये अब इसको ना इधर क्या कह रहा है रीसेट आपकी वो हार्ड इसको भी करना मैंने एक ही बनाई हुई है ना इसमें मेरा भी आ गया अब लिंक
तो अब किसके पास नहीं है कार्ड कुछ कोई ऐसा भी है जिसके पास
नहीं है ना सही है
आगे भी चला गया पीछे गिरे पीछे गिरे नहीं वो ऊपर वाली ऑप्शन पे लेके जाएगा हाँ जी वो भी चला गया ठीक है सर को हमने ये दिखाया सर ये आपने कर दिया आपने स्विच का नाम लिखा ये आपने इससे नहीं किया
ये मैं आपको बता सकता
इसको पीछे करो और थोड़ा सा पीछे करो नहीं नहीं अपनी तरफ
तो पहले एक कार्ड
नहीं थोड़ा सा
नहीं
नीचे कुछ रखा हुआ है
बिल्कुल सही है, क्लियर हुआ आपको? एक दो दफा और करेंगे। ओके
आज आना था, कल हमने तीनों ने कॉन्फ्रेंस कॉल करके एक दूसरे को मतलब समझाया है सारा।
ओके एक्सीलेंट,
उससे
वेरी गुड।
ये है कि आज हमें अब जब हम क्लास में आते हैं हमें पता होता है कि क्या पढ़ रहे
ओके
हैं।
तो कैसे करते हैं आप? पहले एक बंदा तैयार करता है?
नहीं सर, कॉन्फ्रेंस कॉल करते हैं, सारे अपने नोट सामने रखते हैं
हाँ।
और कुछ मैं बोलती हूँ, फिर मैंने जो मिस किया वो बंदा तो फिर हम आधा डिस्कस करके दूसरा बंदा करता है, तीसरा करता है, फिर एंड में देखते हैं किसी ने कोई मिस किया, किसी
एक्सीलेंट
के पास लिखा हुआ है।
बहुत अच्छा,
तो
बहुत
वो फिर
अच्छा,
एक
बेस्ट
दूसरे
है।
को
इसी तरह सारा पिछला रिवाइज कर ले, आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा।
फिर इंशाल्लाह
पिछला भी हम इसी तरह कर सकते हैं।
हाँ क्यों नहीं, लेकिन अभी वही करें जो आप कर रहे हैं। हाँ हाँ
नहीं, फिलहाल हम इससे कोई
इसके नहीं हो जाएंगे।
नहीं हो।
नहीं, पहले ये कर लेना फिर उसको करेंगे। लिखा तो मेरे पास हुआ है ना।
ठीक है।
अभी क्योंकि VMware चल रहा है तो अभी मैं इसी को ही हम क्या लैब भी हमने सर एक दिन में बैठ के 6 तक सारी शुरू से पोस्ट इंस्टॉल की है और 6 तक सारी
मुसलसल कॉल पे रहे।
नहीं सर
अच्छा ओके। Okay guys, everyone, now what we need to do, everyone, what we need to do, we need to understand security in the network. Security in the network. We have this picture, right?
Yes.
Just this last part is not there, it's fine. We can take that picture of that. Everyone, security in V switches. Security in V switches. So security in V switch. Okay, security in vSwitch. Security in vSwitch is a very simple topic. There are not too many options for security in the vSwitch. Now vSwitch is something like this. vSwitch, let's say, this is my vSwitch, and there are few machines connected to this switch. So the security option is all about how, which traffic is going out and which traffic is coming back into the switch. So there are three options about security in a switch. So in order to understand the security in a switch, since it is about a switch, so guys, here we select the switch, we select a switch, and then we are going to edit, we'll select edit a switch. So I've selected this, and there are few things in this. So one more time, we selected a switch. All you need to do is select a switch and then click this pencil sign. This pencil sign here. Once you select, it opens the switch properties. So basically, now you're here, you are on a standard switch. So for now, in our case, we have three switches there. Switch 0, switch 1, switch 2. Now in this switch, there are some ports. And now we are in the settings of this switch. So first of all, here it says it has number of ports are elastic. Elastic simply means that these ports will be automatically expanded as soon as more ports are added. So we said earlier, in legacy client, there are total number of ports are 120. Elastic simply means that if there are more than 120 VMs connected, it will automatically start increasing it 125, then 130, and so on, and how many VMs are there. So the first option is automatically selected for us. Guys, so the first option is number of ports. So it says number of ports is elastic. Guys, the word elastic is a technical word. It's a technical. Now, yes, Azarband is not elastic. Here. Guys, the word here I want you to remember is elastic cloud. Elastic cloud. Now, this term, elastic cloud. Now, elastic cloud, it's a professional term used outside in larger networks. So cloud in general is of three types. Cloud is called a private cloud. Private cloud. There is a public cloud. And then the third one is a hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud. A fourth term that is not mentioned in books, and it's the latest term used in data migration, is known as elastic cloud. Now, what is a private cloud? What is a public cloud? What is a hybrid cloud? Guys, basically, cloud is a term that is used for a complete virtual network. So if your network is completely virtual, meaning that you have ESXi host, and all your running computers are on in the host. They're not physical computer. They're all virtual computer. So basically, these cloud services are offered by big companies. So I'm going to say big companies. Let's understand. Now, this is very important for interviews. So big companies like Microsoft has its own cloud. Microsoft has its own cloud. Microsoft has two types of cloud out there. One is known as Azure. One is known as Microsoft Azure, and the second one is known as Microsoft Office 365. Second one is known. Both are Microsoft cloud. This is a separate type of cloud, and this is a separate type of cloud. Now, it is a cloud. What is a cloud for us? Guys, cloud for us, that Microsoft servers provide these services over the internet, and whoever can go and they can rent them. So cloud is used for renting place. For example, um, you can say all of these. You were listening? Eyes open. Who? Okay, okay, guys. Let's understand what is a cloud. And it's most of the time it's a question asked outside, and then you'll have to explain them. In our case, what is a cloud? Cloud is whenever you need to use a service, you need to rent it. You don't own it, you rent it. So in most of the cloud, we rent these services. So I would say it won't be different that if I say that all of the rental car offices, there are clouds. So if you need to get a car, you can go and rent and use and give it back. This is what IT clouds are. All these clouds, we go and rent servers or desktops or applications. So whenever the word cloud is, they have servers there that we can rent. They have applications there, for example, Word, Office, and they have desktops, Windows 7, Windows 8. So cloud means that there are many companies offering these ready-made services. You go there, rent their service, use it. As long as you're paying them rent, they will let you use it and then you give it back. This is what cloud is. Now, cloud is that. Now, Microsoft owns a cloud, and it's two types of clouds. How many types? Two types. One is Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure is their cloud where they rent out servers. So they rent out servers like 2008, 2012, 2003, and also desktops. So Azure is mostly for renting out operating systems rather than just applications. Whereas Microsoft Office 365 is renting out most of the Office systems. For example, they are renting out their complete Office products. This is why it is known as Office 365. 65 basically is word used for that all Office products 100% are available. For example, once you get this service, Microsoft Office, you can get everything. You can get Outlook from them. You can get email services from them. You can get Word from them. You can get Excel from them. And you don't have to buy a license. All you need to do, just pay them one amount. Maybe it is $12 per month that you have to pay them, and you can use all these services. So guys, cloud is a term used for rental service. Now, in this case, it's just a renting of IT equipment. So clouds are of three types: private, public, and hybrid. Public cloud is an example of these big companies. So Microsoft owns a cloud. And what are the two clouds Microsoft owns? Microsoft Azure and Office 365. From now on, remember this for interview purposes. They might ask you, maybe they might not need these services, but they would. What do you know about Azure? And your simple definition is that in Azure there are many different type of ready-made operating system available. We can go rent them and use them. Okay. Same thing goes for here, guys. In both places, you can rent it for testing purposes and give it back. So I would highly recommend that go and register with these services free for maybe 1 month. I think it is 30 days or 60 days. You can register for both of them and you can use their service just to see how cloud works. So that if somebody asks you an interview, you should know, oh, I've used Azure. I've seen Azure. So you can go and register them. This is an assignment for next week, guys. Please try doing it. It's for your own good. Yes.
So Microsoft Azure, they have servers sitting there.
Yes.
So
People can go and they can build their own server. They would go to Azure, register, and provide their credit card. And I think the first 30 days are evaluation. They're not going to charge you. You can build your own server. You can say, I need i7 server, i7 CPU. I need this much of RAM and that. And then select operating system. They will give you a ready-made server saying, okay, now this is your server, use it.
Virtual server.
It will be all a virtual in cloud.
So the 365 is for mostly
365 is all Microsoft Office application. It's all Office application, but it's a cloud. And second thing, you can also try cloud on Amazon. Amazon has its own cloud services. Other than Amazon, IBM has its own cloud services. HP has its own cloud services. So these are all big organizations that are saying, we have a cloud, you need a system, use our network. Instead of, you don't need to buy a server, just use our system. all you need to have at home is a good internet. And nowadays, all homes have good internet. Yes. They again.
Credit card free service.
Credit card, Amazon. You can try Amazon without even credit card. You can try Amazon. So right here, Microsoft, Amazon, and so guys, this is an example of public cloud. Now, what is an example of a cloud? How can you remember it from real life? It's a renting service. It's a renting service. All rental car dealers are clouds. So you go rent a car and then use it, give it back. Exactly the same thing. Now, what is a private? Guys, private cloud is a cloud that you have virtualization in your organization. You don't have to go outside to someone. So in your company, you are going to actually install ESXi host and ready and make the virtual machines ready. Whoever needs in your organization, they can get it from you. Private cloud is completely a cloud application that sits inside Evergreen. It's not available outside Evergreen. But guys, always remember, this is, I mean, here, what we are using here, this is 2 ESXi host and 1 vCenter. This is not a cloud. In order to make this a cloud, you need to install vCloud Director on top of VMware. So there are special cloud applications that makes your virtual environment a cloud. Okay? So private cloud is a virtual services inside the organization. This is completely outside your organization. Hybrid is half of the virtual services in your organization, half of them outside. Okay. So do we understand private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud? Guys, elastic cloud is a new term, and elastic cloud is used for when you go to these organizations, when you go to a public cloud. So mostly Elastic Cloud is actually part of all three of them, but Elastic Cloud is this. Let's say I went to Microsoft and I bought 5 servers. Okay, I went to Microsoft and I said I'm gonna need 5 servers, and you're paying for 5 servers. You're paying for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 servers. So you're paying for 5. Let's say you're paying $300 for 5 servers rental. Now, most of the time, guys, these agreements are signed before and then servers are given to you. Most of the time, these are. Now, what are you renting? Guys, you're renting everything. You're renting the server, you're renting the storage, you're renting networking. So for each and every component, there is a price. So let's say you want a server with storage. I'm talking about the disk. You want a server with, let's say, 1 terabyte disk. But then with time, now you need 2 terabytes. So you don't need to rent a complete server. You would just ask them, add 500 more to this. And then they're going to add some more. They're going to say, okay, we're going to charge you 320. So as soon as you use these services, components will keep on adding. In an Elastic Cloud, you can dynamically add these components before even you pay. So Elastic Cloud is that you get a machine and you keep on adding components as you need. And as soon as you don't need them, just remove it. So Elastic means that this server can be expanded or this can be reduced while using it. Whereas the normal clouds are, you must sign an agreement that I'm going to need this server for 1 year and you cannot change. And if you need more, you need to sign another other agreement. In Elastic Cloud, it is open and it is more expensive. So since you do need whenever you need something, you can use it and give it back. Yes.
It is a buffet.
It is like a buffet. Yes, you're right.
So they're charging it once, so they're not charging like every time if you're adding more.
No, they will be charging. It depends, or it could be quarterly.
But you cannot return though.
I mean, guys, however you remember it. Call it a buffet. Call it some Wonderland. Call it a car servicing system.
You're paying the big amount for just to forget the last thing.
Yes, for Elastic it's a big one.
You're not paying for the
Guys, Elastic Cloud is it is expensive because Microsoft is actually giving you an open option to get the things without requesting them. Because most of the time resources are very expensive. If, for example, if you rent out my machine and you come next day and say that 1 TB is not enough, give me 2 TB. So it will take time for me to get another TB and add it to this machine. So adding component, removing component is not an easy option. Yes.
So you can stand on Microsoft Azure Elastic you can just.
This is what Elastic is.
So is it Microsoft Azure more towards backup than OS?
No, no, no. It is all about OS. It's all about all types of OS. They have all types of OSs available.
In addition to his switch, for the data, it still comes under Azure, the data, if you consume that as well. Like
Yes,
database.
yes,
Storage,
everything.
storage.
Guys, this is why I'm saying, please, before the next lecture, gather some more information about Azure and also Office 365. And plus, for track 5, you do have a challenge presentation tomorrow. Everyone?
No, sir. There's a presentation first.
Wednesday. No. Hold on. You need to do migrations, upgradation. Remember all that? So you want me to move it to next Monday?
Please. Yes, sir, Monday.
But please make them.
But
Please.
sir, there's 2 more presentations still pending, right?
We'll do those presentations as well. Okay, here. Okay, no. So then prepare it.
So we are not coming tomorrow.
It's up to you. If you wanna come, you can come here and work. But your presentations are on Monday. Okay, here guys. No presentation tomorrow. I know that you have not prepared. Guys, prepare those red stuff. Do we know what is the red stuff?
Yes.
Okay, guys, here. Now let's look at this. Everyone. With today, the topic is, this last topic is about security in a switch. So this switch, if you don't apply security in this guy, your very important VMs are sitting here, and maybe there might be a VM that is affected with virus. And this one VM can affect all the ports, and it can affect everything in your environment. Or it is also possible that virus can enter through your management port from here, from outside, and goes here and there. So for that reason, we need to secure the switch. In order to secure the switch, in this security, there are 3 options. But before going to security, right here, elastic ports. What is the meaning of elastic ports? Ports can be extended or removed as they needed, right? Now the next thing here is MTU. There is something called MTU. MTU stands for Message Transmission Unit. Transmit. It is just a size of your IP packet. How big your IP packet be when it is traveling inside the switch. So it is I would say size of IP packet. So it's saying message transmission unit is 1500 MTU. 1500 MTU, guys, it's a general size of our IP packet. Remember IP packet when we talked about IP packet? We know that on this network only IP traffic can travel. And then we have talked about few times that all the data travels in IP packet. What are the parts of IP packet? What are the parts? So first one, each IP packet has source port, and source IP.
Destination port, destination IP, and then data.
Destination IP and destination port. Where is the data? Data is right here. So each packet is traveling in this case. So let's say if this is an IP packet, so data is right sitting here. It has destination port, destination IP, and this is how traveling on the network. So guys, this MTU is the size of this packet. Now, why is it here? Because we can have two types of packets traveling in a complete network. In some very rare type of situations, we can use something called jumbo packets. Jumbo packets are size of 9000 MTU. Some application would require jumbo packet to be created. Now, jumbo packet, you can say this is a normal packet, and you can say jumbo packet is like an 18-wheeler. So it's a huge big packet traveling on this network. Now, why would you have jumbo packet? It's just the application requirement. Some application would require a jumbo packet. If you ever need to increase the size of packets, we'll come here and increase them. Do you remember we are in vSwitch 0 properties? So if the packet size needs to be increased, it needs to be increased for the complete switch. Now Most of the time in general, we have just a normal size of packet, which is 1500 MTU. How much is it? 1500 MTU. So now the question is, if you ever need to change it to a jumbo size packet, is it an easier job to do? Answer is no. In order to use jumbo size packet, you not only need to upgrade. So here you don't need to you don't need to do any upgrades here on a switch, but you do need to upgrade this physical adapter, the PNICs. PNICs should be able to support jumbo packets. Your physical switches need to be support jumbo packets, and your routers should be able to support jumbo packet, meaning your complete network should be able to support that. If your network doesn't support jumbo packets and you still go and change it to 9000, in that case, this switch won't be able to communicate on a normal network. So just remember this. Yes, we can change it to jumbo packets. We can change it to jumbo packet, but if you do, you need to make sure that it is all jumbo. It is all jumbo. Now, next thing is security. Guys, in security, there are 3 types of security settings. There are just 3 types of security settings. One is known as promiscuous mode. Promiscuous mode. Second is known as MAC address changes. And third is forge transmit. So 3 things. Promiscuous mode, MAC address changes, and forge transmit. Again, one more time. This is a type of security setting. All you need to remember just these 3. So first one is promiscuous mode. Promiscuous mode says that all of the ports here are blocked. Nobody can run network monitor on these ports. It says promiscuous mode says to reject promiscuous mode. If you change it to accept, it means there is no security on these ports on a switch. If you leave it as default, it means that these all ports are protected. These all ports are protected. So what does that mean? So let's see. This is my switch, and here I have ports. Guys, what are we explaining? Promiscuous mode. Now I have these ports. Now I have a very important VM sitting here, and another important VM sitting here, and another important VM sitting here. Now let's say this is a bank, and this server is their web interface for transaction. So many users are connecting here, and they are using their ATM card and PIN number. So a very important information is going there. By default, all these ports, what I said, is protected. Where is the firewall? Red marker. Is there on any table? Okay. Okay. Just throw. It's IP packet. Oh, wow. Good throw. Bad catch. Okay. Guys, what this promiscuous mode means is that each port is protected by a firewall. Now, what that means is, guys, do we know that there are tools that can translate traffic on ports? So there is a tool called Network Monitor and Wireshark. So if I install a new computer on this port, and on this port I install Windows 7, in Windows 7 I install a tool called Network Monitor, which is also known as NetMon. This tool can show me what packets are going on this port and each and everything. So this tool, if you open, this tool is something like this. It is, if I say network monitor, it is this tool here, or maybe this picture is better. Same thing. It does the same thing, yes. IP sniffer is the same thing as well. These are all sniffing tools. So let's look at it. Now this tool, what it is doing here is this software, it's monitoring a certain computer. So if I start this tool and say, you know what, monitor port number 1 or this computer's IP address, then what it does, this tool will keep a probe on this, and then whatever data is coming here, a copy of that data will be going to this system as well. So this is the capability of this tool. It can, so all the packets that are going here, a copy of that, it's like have you ever heard of Kunda squad? No. It's not called a Kunda squad. In Pakistan, they put a Kunda on electricity. So that thing, Kunda, actually they are putting a Kunda here. They are putting a, so basically with that probe, we call it a probe. So with that probe, all the packets that are going, a copy of the packet is also going to this machine, basically to this tool. And in this tool, here you will see everything. So guys, if promiscuous mode is set to reject, then you cannot put a probe here. So by default, you cannot put a probe. But if you change it to accept, if you say promiscuous mode is accept, then it means all ports are open and you can probe any port. So that's the first type of security setting. But now your question is, I'll come back to your question, then why would you open it? Why would you open it? Answer is just for troubleshooting purposes. Let's say people are complaining that it's a slow network and you don't know why is it slow, which machine is making it slow. So for that, temporarily we'll put it to accept and we'll run this tool. Guys, by the way, this is not a hacking tool. This is a Microsoft network monitor tool used to troubleshoot network performance issues. But you can use it for other purposes as well. So now, like this tool, there is another tool called Wireshark. Same tool, Wireshark, and there is another tool called IP Sniffer. These are all sniffing tools. What is sniffing? That thing. The SWAR? Oh, in the SWAR there is sniffing too. Okay. Anyways, guys, dude, can you remember it, Kunda type? Always remember, it puts a probe on a machine and it can see everything what you're doing here. So any other example?
You can save your bill only.
What?
So it's like wired.
No,
Tapping your
it's not only saving a bill. You can increase your bad deeds to a huge number.
Call recorder is.
It's a serious.
सर आप भूल गए सोफिया से है ना ये तो कराची में नहीं रहे हैं तो खुला नहीं मालूम
ओ भाई सबसे पहले हाथ
Okay, guys, here. Look at this. However you remember it, guys. The easiest way to learn any technology, try to add it to whatever you can understand. For example, you just give me an example, you never forget it now. So make your own examples. So here, guys, do we understand network monitor? Network monitor is that it can see all the traffic. How to block it? All you need to do, keep it rejected. Keep it rejected. As long as this is rejected, nobody can see what's happening on other ports. But as soon as you change it to accept, which is right in this case, right here, where is it? Where? So it's just loading. Guys, the second two are the same options. It is just checking. So the first is promiscuous mode. Promiscuous mode is to enable or disable network monitoring. Whereas MAC address changing is force transmit. Guys, all of these VMs have two type of MAC addresses. All the VMs on a switch have two types of MAC addresses. So there is a MAC address inside a VM. There is a MAC address outside a VM. There is a MAC address inside a VM. There is a MAC address outside a VM. Let's understand this like here. So this is my ESXi host. And as soon as I create a new VM, a MAC address is assigned automatically to a VM. A MAC address. What is a MAC address? MAC address is also known as a physical address. And physical address is a hexadecimal address. Well, what is one thing that we need to remember about a MAC address? It's a unique ID throughout the world. So when one MAC address is assigned to one device, it cannot be assigned to any other device. And MAC address is automatically assigned to all the devices. We cannot change them. We shouldn't change them. So MAC address looks like these. SIM card, you change them. Oh, SIM card. Yes, SIM card. You shouldn't. You cannot. You shouldn't. Okay. So MAC address. So guys, here, when a new VM is born, a MAC address is assigned to a VM from VMware. Do we understand that? A MAC address is assigned to a VM. Okay. And then once you install operating system in this, so first MAC address is assigned here, and once you install operating system in this, then inside the operating system, one MAC address is assigned inside the operating system. Now, most of the time, the same MAC address will be assigned to the inside MAC address as well. So when you go inside the machine, you will see the same MAC address. What is the main purpose of having same MAC address? Guys, it's only one purpose. Let's say this is my host and I have this VM. So VM's outside MAC address and inside MAC address same, meaning that this is exactly a legit VM. Okay. If in any case the inside MAC address is different from outside MAC address, this is different from this inside, it means that MAC address is changed. Okay. So if MAC address is changed, it means that it might not be the same VM. Now, why do we need to understand it? We need to understand in this manner here. So let's say this is my ESXi host in TD Bank. How many banks?
TD Bank.
I mean, which bank? TD Bank. TD Bank, is it? And TD Bank people are logging into this web interface and doing millions of transactions. Okay, they are using their ATM card and their PIN number on this VM. Now, if somebody needs to hack into this environment, all you need to do is maybe at some point create exactly a same VM with the same name, and then you can maybe, I mean, this is just hypothetically, I'm just giving you an example. It's not possible. I'm just giving you that if somebody needs to hack and give a fake ATM card and PIN page so that people can use ATM card and PIN and it can record it. So all you need to do is that create the same VM as this and maybe pause this VM and create this VM. So instead of going here, they will be directed here. Guys, you can do this. You can create a web page. You can give them a legit type of look, but the only thing that you cannot do is change the MAC address. Because this VM is sitting with this MAC address on this switch. Now, there are ways where you can change the MAC address to this MAC address as well. And if you use the same MAC address of this machine as this one, this machine will exactly look like this machine, and people can hack into this. So if you are able to change, and there are many ways you can change the MAC address. Guys, as you can see, our security setting is saying that here MAC address changes is accepted, forged transmit is accepted. It means that even if a machine's external or internal MAC addresses are different, those VMs can still be able to work on that switch. But let's say if you say no, MAC address changes is rejected. If a MAC address is different inside and outside, that VM cannot even talk on this network. So basically, if MAC address is different, then this is gone. Then this VM cannot communicate. And same thing is forged transmit. Forged transmit is exactly the same thing. MAC address changes, is for inside traffic going outside. You're monitoring inside to outside. And force transmit traffic going from outside to inside. But both of them are monitoring the MAC address here. So, but what is the by default value? The default value is except in this case, meaning even if the MAC address is different on both ends, VM will still be able to communicate work in this switch. Okay, do we understand?
Yes.
Kind of. Let's take a 5 minutes break. Okay, give me just 5 minutes. I need to actually just this last topic. Okay. So here, guys. Do we understand inside MAC address and outside MAC address? So whenever a machine is born or created, a MAC address is assigned. As soon as you install operating system inside, then both MAC addresses are exactly the same. So these two settings are just saying at any point in time, if MAC addresses are different, they should still be allowed to work on the network because it is accepted. But if you say no, reject, meaning if machines' MAC addresses are different at any point, machine will be completely blocked and it won't be able to use the switch. Meaning this machine is totally sitting here idle. It cannot connect outside or inside. Nothing. It won't allow to be connected in any form. Now, it is set to accept. So your question is, if it is so much important for making sure that two MAC addresses are exactly the same, why is it set to accept? Guys, it is set to accept for vMotion purposes. When a machine is moved in vMotion, do we remember vMotion? Yes. That a live machine is moved from here to here. Guys, if you set to reject this, then vMotion will not work. So remember this. If I set to reject this, because what happens is, as soon as a machine is moved from here to here, MAC address of this machine will be changed. Because on each host, MAC address is different. So to allow vMotion to work, this must be set to accepted. Both of them set to be accepted. Yes.
What's the reason is this to be here as well? What's the
Yes. So the reason, so the question is, why do you still have this option? If very important thing, vMotion is not working, then why do you have this? So the answer to this is number one, it is only for very high security areas where you don't, where there is no importance of vMotion, but the high importance is to have only legit VM sitting there. So maybe you can just, and remember, this is a setting for one switch. So you can create a special switch for that high security alert area and just set up this so that VM's MAC addresses won't be changed. And the second thing here is, so do we understand MAC address changes and force transmit? So guys, just before leaving, I'm going to quickly review 3 settings here. Just 3 settings.